Hello, I'm Richard Murphy, and I want to talk about the recession that we are inevitably going to have in the UK. I say inevitably because, well, literally, there is no way we can now avoid a long-term consequence of the coronavirus crisis. I know that there are some, like Andy Haldane at the Bank of England, who says that we will have a V-shaped recovery from the coronavirus crisis. What he means is that we will bounce back straight to where we were by sometime early in 2021. He's living in cloud cuckoo land, I'm afraid to say. There is no chance that that is going to happen. There are many more who think that the recession that we're going to have is going to be deep, very serious and long term, and you can count me in their number. Why is that? Why do I lack the confidence that the Bank of England claims it has? Well, very simply, there are three reasons. The first is that there remain 7 million people on the government's furlough scheme at the time that we're recording this in August 2020. What does that mean? 7 million people are being paid at present to be at least part-time unemployed because their employers have no work for them. Now that means that this economy is running at way below its potential at present. And that's what a recession is. A recession is created when an economy runs at way below its potential because people are not buying goods and services from other people. And that's what's happening right now. Now, is there any chance that within the space of a few months, given the uncertainties that exist, given the doubts that there are about another COVID-19 spike, given the business uncertainties that are apparent, which are giving rise, for example, to things like a lack of investment in our economy at present, given the uncertainties created by Brexit as well, I hate to mention it, but it's true, given all those things, is there any chance that all those 7 million people are going to go back to work? I have to tell you, there's none at all. In fact, when I look at the evidence, the chance is that a great many won't. What is that evidence that they won't be returning to work? Well, what I look at is bank data. Right now, nearly 1.3 million companies in the UK have been supported by the government under its loan schemes linked to the coronavirus. There are only 1.5 million companies that have trading income in the UK according to current corporation tax statistics. That means the vast majority of businesses in the UK right now have received some form of government support to keep them going during the coronavirus crisis. And when I look at what bankers are saying about those loans which they have made to these companies, because the loans are actually made by banks but guaranteed by the government, they're saying that up to 50% of those loans could fail, by which they mean they won't be repaid. Now, it's fairly easy to extrapolate that data. If half of 1.3 million companies are not going to repay their loans, that means that more than 600,000 companies may not repay their loans. That means that 40% of all businesses in the UK might fail, according to our UK banking community. Small businesses employ 16 million people in the UK economy. They are in fact the biggest employers in our country. If 40% of those jobs are lost, that's over 6 million jobs that might disappear. Now, I'm not that pessimistic. Why aren't I that pessimistic? Because I think there's a real chance that some of those businesses will of course be very quickly resurrected. Businesses will go bust and will be replaced by new ones with new credit facilities. That's what happens in the real world. I'm not unrealistic, but not everybody will be able to resurrect a business that has failed. Quite simply, their market will have disappeared. And with it, so will many jobs. If half of the people who might lose their jobs when small businesses fail become long-term unemployed, that's at least another 3 million people over the unemployed we've already got. And we already have 2 million unemployed. And on top of that number, we also have to allow for the fact that some of the people who are self-employed in this country will, of course, also cease to trade. And there are 5 million people who are self-employed in the UK. Let's assume that 20% of them go out of business, and that quite easily pushes our unemployment rate to 6 million, a figure that we have never got close to before in the history of the UK, and which is beyond any economists, any politicians, and frankly any person's imagination as to its consequence. Is the recession going to be easy then? No. If I'm wrong even by a bit, well, of course I might be, all forecasts are wrong, but even if I'm wrong by a bit and we only end up with 4 to 5 million unemployed, we still are facing an economic disaster. The recession to come is going to be grim beyond any imagination. I hate to be so pessimistic. I don't want to be that pessimistic. But I have a point to make, and that is that it does not need to be this way. The government could, if it wishes, for example, continue the furlough scheme. It could continue to support small businesses by turning their loans into share capital and saying, we own a stake in your business rather than make a loan to your business, and you don't have to repay us. They could attach conditions to that, but it would still mean that those businesses could survive. There are ways out of this mess. We don't need to face the sort of crisis that the current policies the government is pursuing could create. We really are facing a staggering downturn. And add to that the risks from Brexit, add to that the risks from climate change, add to that the risks from another spike from COVID-19, and everything looks a little grim right now. And yet the government has the power to solve this. Money can be created, quantitative easing can be used, debts can be deferred, taxes can be cut, and we can survive this process by working as an economy together to get through to the other side of the crisis that we are facing. But it all requires the government to believe that they have a central role in managing our economy to ensure that we can recover from the coronavirus crisis, which has nothing to do with health and everything to do with the fact that vast numbers of businesses in this country face extinction, which I'd rather did not happen. For your sake, for my sake, for everyone's sake, because we are, in this case, literally all in this together. I'm Richard Murphy. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to this video series on YouTube if you're interested. Also look for us on Facebook. I am on Twitter @RichardJMurphy, and at the same time look at my blog Tax Research UK, where you can find much more on these themes. And I'll see you again soon.